Are you real? With the Switch in existence, what is the future of Nintendo handheld consoles? Will they make a follow-up to the new 3DS that's in the same vein as those handhelds, or will they keep making different iterations of the Switch? As far as I'm concerned, the Switch is the continuation of handhelds. Yes, the new 3DSs were kept around for a while longer, and the Switch is this kind of odd melding of their traditional mainline systems and handhelds, but I don't see there being another handheld system that's separate from the Switch coexisting at the same time. The 3DS kind of went through the rest of its life cycle much longer than I think anyone really anticipated or thought it would, and that's it. So if we're gonna get another handheld in the future, it's either something entirely new or it's a new Switch iteration. I don't think there's any kind of new 3DS or dedicated smaller portable. It's Switch or it's new. I think what's actually a more interesting question that no one's really asking is, are we going to get another traditional home console system from Nintendo? Because a lot of people, I think, again, equate the Switch as being both of those, and it's considered a mainline, which is mostly true, but it's still basically a portable handheld that you can also hook up to a TV. In my mind, it's a portable first. So with that logic, really, it kind of makes sense that if we did get a Switch 2 in the future, or if they just focused on making like 1.5 versions of the Switch, whether it's a Mini or a Pro or whatever, there's totally the chance that Nintendo could work on a more powerful traditional home console that relies on some other kind of interesting different gimmick, whether that's more motion controls like the Wii did, the tablet setup the Wii U had, or something entirely new that we're not even considering. You know, the big thing I think Nintendo's been known for the last couple system releases is not going the direction a lot of people think they're going to, and they could totally catch us by surprise again. How do you think Project XCloud from Microsoft will compare to Google's Stadia? It's a slightly weird situation because we don't know everything specifically about XCloud yet. We understand how it's going to work, but we don't know full things about pricing or what games are going to be included and that kind of thing. But based on how I assume it would work, I think Google Stadia is going to be something that works better, but Microsoft is going to be something that's a lot more attractive to a lot of people, mainly because it's a platform that already exists. With Google Stadia, you have to buy games even if you already owned them on another platform previously. If you want to do the 4K kind of stuff, you have to have that premium membership, you're buying a specialized controller. There's a lot more going on getting into it, whereas Project xCloud is very open and receiving to people that are already Xbox users. You already have an Xbox One controller. You already might have an Xbox Live Gold and Xbox Game Pass account, which might tie in together. I mean, if Project xCloud allows you to take games that you own on Game Pass and play them wherever you are, that is a much easier system to get into, and it's gonna be a lot more appealing to a lot of people. So I think Stadia is gonna have like the raw power behind it, but it's a bit of a steep investment for people to get into, whereas Xbox is just gonna be really easy to pick up people that just wanna try it and get hooked. Now, of course, it's totally a possibility that Stadia could just catch me entirely off guard. Again, we don't fully know everything about how Project xCloud is gonna work, and a large part of the, I think, apprehension about Stadia is that streaming games like this is just still kind of new tech. We've had a few examples of it in the past, and none of them have been super great. I mean, anyone that's used PlayStation Now, yeah, sometimes it's good, a lot of times it's not. And if you want to play more modern, up-to-date games that are even more demanding, well, that's even harder to do right. So a lot of it hinges on just how well the service is gonna work, and maybe Stadia will surprise us. Maybe it'll be a perfectly stable, awesome thing, and it explodes in popularity, and that's cool. Or maybe it doesn't, and we wait for the next big thing. Can we get a BTS tour? So, yes and no, because I'm not gonna do a tour right now, but there's actually already a video that shows off where we are right now, but in other directions and angles. John, who I work with, did a tour of our office setup here, our studio where we do all our shooting. We'll go ahead and link that video so you guys can check that out. What is your favorite video game soundtrack? Ooh. That's tough. There's a lot that I really, really like for very different reasons. Some of my top ones are probably the soundtrack for Transistor, Nier, and Nier Automata. Really everything that guy Darren Korb has done. Chrono Trigger is really up there for me. Look guys, I can go on forever about this. I'm just gonna stop myself now because that's Chrono Cross as well, even though I don't like the game quite as much. The soundtrack's basically all of Final Fantasy, at least up till 10. Half the Castlevania games, which to be honest, most of the time they're just remixes of the same songs, but it works. Oh, Child of Light, that's another really good one. Journey, on that same note. Basically that entire genre of like whimsical sounding indie games for very different reasons, Rayman Origins. for very different reasons. Are you excited for the Sega Genesis Mini? Yes, I am.
Sega Mega Drive 16-bit CPU 搭載
Because I did not grow up in a Sega household. I was able to play a couple games when I was a kid at like friends' houses and stuff, but I never really played through a lot of stuff. I did start working on a couple of them when the Mega SG came out, because that lets you play actual old school Genesis games on a modern TV, which is cool, but it also requires me to actually hunt down and collect Genesis games I didn't own yet. So I've played some of them, but there's a lot more that are on the Mini that I'm really excited to finally play because they've been on my backlog for a very long time. What genre of game do you think needs more representation overall? Ooh, that's tough, because there's a biased part of me where I'm like, oh yeah, we just need tons more of this kind of game, and it actually probably has plenty of indie spin-offs that are cool, and I'm just greedy and want more. What's something that we don't get a lot of? I feel like we could probably use another resurgence of like beat-em-up games. There's a few indie titles that have kind of done it, and we've seen a small return of them with like collections of classic games, but there hasn't been a really good new one for a little bit. We had like a mini renaissance of it in like the late 2000s with like Scott Pilgrim and Castle Crashers, and again, there's still like some indie titles here and there, but I could definitely use a lot more. I'd also like more kind of puzzle hybrid games, if that makes sense. I really loved Clash of Heroes on the 3DS, Might and Magic Clash of Heroes, not the phone game thing, but I really love that kind of genre where it's this fusion of puzzle solving, but it's also RPG tactics. I don't know, it's a weird thing that there's not enough of, and I could use more.